Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the VIP podcast. I am your host, Heath, sharing again with another live episode today from the InsurTech Showcase Experience. Now I've got another one for you with my man, Courtney of AndDone, IPFS. We love our partnership with IPFS, and Courtney is just a blast to talk to. If you're listening audibly, make sure you go and subscribe there. Hit the like, whatever you got to do. Give me a 5-star review. Sid and I work really hard to put out the best content for you, the VIP. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump out of the way so you can check out this awesome content from my man, Courtney. Let's go. I got my man Courtney here hanging out with me. How you doing, brother?
Heath, man, thanks for having me. I'm having always a good time in Indy, man, especially when I get to hang out with you. So.
Dude, wherever it's in the Key West or Indy, wherever we're at, we always have a good time.
Always a good time.
Speaking of good time, okay, we're both SEC guys.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, and we're here in the Midwest, so we can talk SEC a little bit. So, you know, tell me, is LSU all it's cracked up to be when it comes to the tailgates? Is it really as good as everybody says it is?
I will say this, and I do not mind being on video saying this. It is, now, there's many other better college towns in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But on Saturday, and especially Saturday night, the tailgate scene, and, you know, most tailgate scenes, that's where things peak, and then you get in the game, and it kind of levels out a little bit. The experience only elevates when you get in the Tiger Stadium. I mean, it's a religious experience when you get in there.
Dude, I was my college roommate is from Baton Rouge, and I went home, you know, with him one time, and there was a game going on, and we weren't at the game. We were at home, and you could hear the stadium. It was like 4 miles away.
Oh yeah,
from his house, you could hear it.
They're known for creating earthquakes, man. When it's
crazy.
I tell you all the time, like, yeah, you can go around Baton Rouge, like, well, what's up with it? Like, I think Athens is like one of the greatest college towns, and I'm an LSU fan saying that. But here's the problem: when you get into, I think Sanford, the experience kind of goes down. Like I said, when you get into Death Valley, especially on Saturday night, the noise, it is a religious experience.
Dude, for a long time, we had the Battle of the Boot in Little Rock, my hometown.
Oh, yeah, Battle, yeah.
Yeah, and we had some good tailgates, but nothing compared to, going to Baton Rouge. But, so anyhow, that being said, okay, now, you know, from awkward transition from that to here at a tech conference.
I mean, you can always, SEC football and technology, you know, you can always find a way to bridge it.
We have good times. I saw you out last night. We were having a good time. Tell me, you know, this is your second year here at this event. What do you think? You killed it on stage, by the way, earlier. Opened up the day. Yeah. Really impressed with your speaking ability. But tell me about, you know, second year here. What do you think about the conference so far? What are you seeing?
Yeah, you know, so I guess some trends that I'm seeing, you know, and I'll talk about how I kicked off the conference, because really it's really impressing upon, you know, one agent is one thing, like the voice of one agent, but like as a vendor, like the multiplier effect of all these agents coming together to really voice, you know, voice issues, voice concerns, voice, you know, where they want to see technology go. I mean, we start to compile all those trends together, and you really get to see a good writing on the wall. You know, some of those things that, like, in talking with agents last night, you know, disparate solutions, you know, the lack of inability to integrate, not so much because there's a technology hindrance, but because of maybe partnerships, you know, and conflicting interests, right? So it's forcing agencies to have, you know, siloed data, and I'm just going to use, you know, the terms that you hear all the time, but it still exists. While this industry has moved, all right, put this in perspective. When I first got into, now mind you, I come from Fintech, so 3 years ago when I got into this insurance space, I was told that the agency management systems will never allow an integration. It's going to cost millions of dollars, and they're going to be closed off, and they'll never let anybody in. Yeah. Obviously, that's not true. That wasn't going to be true. We knew that because we saw it in the fintech world. Sure. But now it's so we've come a long way there, but we still are seeing this. I still can't get access to my data. I still can't. You know, I'm working with multiple solutions that don't talk to each other. So, you know, we're always improving. But these are the trends that we come to these events, and you know, we'd love to be a sponsor of these events because we support the cause here. We want to see this industry push forward, and it starts with the agent.
Yeah, it's cool to see a premium finance company or like a payments company involved in the tech like this. You know, I look around the room, I don't see a whole lot of other vendors in your space that are at a tech conference.
Well, so all right, when I got to IPFS, that was really like the key was, and you'll notice I would say AndDone, because AndDone is really the I would say the conduit of innovation, the arm of innovation for IPFS. I mean, IPFS was so forward thinking that they created a separate payments company agnostic of premium financing. So I tell people all the time, like, I don't care who you premium finance with. I do, but my job is really to build the payment side. We've got customers and carriers who don't ever want to premium finance. But again, IPFS was so forward thinking to be able to better serve the market by being a full-blown payments company, not just a premium finance company trying to act like a payments company.
Right.
Let's all specialize in what we do and bring that together. But the key thing with IPFS was don't think like a premium finance company. Think like a fintech. You like this. You can't be a premium finance company anymore. You have to be a fintech company, and it's just been exciting to watch these transitions and anticipating where all these moves are coming from.
That's awesome. I don't know if my mic turned on or not. Hang on a minute. It just was blinking on me. Hopefully it's good. We're gonna edit.
Yeah.
It's blinking on me though. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Hopefully we're okay. Chad, hopefully, it's okay, good.
There you go.
Chad, hopefully you won't do a whole lot of editing.
Not too much.
We're about 5 minutes in. We'll get some edits in. All right, you were talking about, fintech, and you were getting into that. Okay, so I'm trying to rewind back where I was. Being here at this conference, though, is there anything that you've seen as far as whether it's vendors or talking to agents or anything like that that has surprised you so far, or anything that you think that caught you off guard?
So I don't know if necessarily caught off guard. There's some trends we've been monitoring, and we were talking about it a little while ago, and it's really interesting with the agency management system. And I'll plug Vertafore. I think Vertafore has been the best in the industry in terms of being the openness to work with best of breed vendors, because what that does is give agencies choice. I have many examples where people are forced to work into a solution they really don't want to, but because that's just kind of where they're forced to go. I think Vertafore does a fantastic job in working with their vendors in their Orange Partnership Program. I think
I appreciate it. We tend to think so too.
I figured so.
Yeah.
But the trend that we're monitoring right now, and again, it's not like some Oracle or anything. I came from Fintech, and we saw this trend in Fintech, it's very similar to that of like SAP and Oracle, where they're really most of everybody worked in this experiential layer above the ERP system or SAP and Oracle. So similar to that, I'm talking to a lot of agencies, and they're saying, hey, we're working out of the CRM, and we would love if payments and billing and premium financing really was invoked out of this CRM experience. Right. And then everything has to feed back into the agency management system, because that is the brain, if you will, the heart of my organization. But really all the policyholder facing activities is really invoked from the CRM layer that sits above it. And so it's been interesting. It's an interesting trend to follow, because I think at AndDone that's really been our focus, is building the payment infrastructure for the insurance industry. So in doing that, you have to build not only robust but flexible functionality, right? Yeah. If you're going to service agents, to we even process payments now for other premium finance companies, right? And that's wild. But if you're going to service agencies, MGAs, MGUs, carriers, other premium finance companies, you have to build an infrastructure that could be flexible enough to handle that. And so I'm excited to see the opportunities that, because what that means is there's more distribution channels that are coming for us.
100%. And that's what we're at the same boat at Vertafore. We service not only agents, but also carrier and also MGAs. And so, there's different, things that you're having to deal with different. So do you guys have someone at the forefront of that, keeping your finger on the pulse when it comes to MGA agents and carriers to service all those different things? Or, how do you guys keeping up with all of that?
So I will say we do have an advantage. So and I'll speak on the AndDone side. And I got to speak for IPFS. We have obviously shared resources with IPFS. So
sure.
We really have two channels, two doors that people can come through. One of which is the IPFS door. So we're a known commodity. IPFS. We have good great relationships there. And then they come through the IPFS door and say, I need payments, and we have specific sales executives that focus on carriers and MGAs. So we're able to keep a pulse there. And there's no better way to keep a pulse than actually going to conferences and talking to other MGAs and MGUs. Yeah. And finding early adopter partners. You got to find those, because again, they're following the same trends as well too. But then we have this other channel where we, as AndDone, you can come through the AndDone door, want nothing to do with premium finance or have another premium finance relationship that you don't want to mess with,
right?
And you're looking for payments, right? And so being able to kind of take in relationships from both doors, I think fast tracks a lot of data. And then we've had excellent partners early on So we get to tap on their shoulder and say, what do you think,
Yeah, that's really cool. I wonder, for those that are listening that may not know, could you explain maybe what's the difference in a payments platform versus a premium finance company?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I don't think that's working anymore. Go ahead.
I'm gonna speak loud there.
Yeah.
Speak loud? So the difference between payments and premium finance. So again, somebody once asked me at an internal meeting. They said, "Well, we're financing loans and people have to make payments. So isn't premium finance payments?"
Right. Yeah. There's some people that might be confused by that. Yeah.
And I keep it very simple.
Okay.
We sell two products. We sell premium finance, and that's a loan product. So when you go buy a house and you go get a mortgage, you go buy a mortgage. They're selling you a mortgage. They're not selling you payments, right, or payment processing.
Right.
Now they're selling you a loan product, right? So that's product number one, obviously with IPFS, and that's what 40 years of experience, a giant in the largest in North America.
Oh yeah.
And so that's their specialty, is selling and servicing a loan product.
Okay.
Now you need a full-blown, robust payment processor. So we are the engine that powers the payments behind if you're going to make a payment on those loan products.
Yeah.
Furthermore, we are a full-blown payments infrastructure to be able to support just processing payments in general. ACH, credit cards, right? So, building features such as auto retry, the things that you would expect in a natural e-commerce experience.
Sure.
That's what we've built on the AndDone side. So AndDone is actually plugged into IPFS and processes all the IPFS's payments because we're the payment product.
Sure.
And then IPFS is selling the loan product, which is the financing piece.
So one of the big headaches that a lot of agencies have is cancel non-pays, things of that nature. Are you guys at AndDone doing some things to help eradicate some of those issues?
Yeah. So a couple of things on the cancellation like non-pay. So I'll get into more, not so much more on the canceling. You have your standard notifications, right? And it's hard to swing sometimes human behavior, right? So if people decide that they're not going to pay, they're not going to pay. But no, no matter how many times you tap on their shoulder and get tools, right?
It's just
But
human behavior.
Here's something that I think really needs to be talked about more. Our biggest focus in 2025 is going to be merchant protection. Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So protecting the agent. That's real simple, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? So I'm an agent. And I've got somebody paid a $12,000 policy on a credit card, and 6 months later it gets disputed. Well, I got news for you. The card brands are going to side with the insured always because that's their customer, right? You're not their customer. We're not their customer. Right? So you're guilty until proven innocent in that case when you have to go defend that dispute. Yeah. And it really is a problem. And there's a lot of data on this in terms of fraud, payments fraud, in terms of people invoking that through just they go make a payment and then they dispute it later because they know they're going to get their money back. So like at AndDone, we're strongly focusing not only on functionality to improve operational efficiencies, but this merchant protection is a serious issue. We've had customers too that we've had to go fight tooth and nail to try to get their money back because some insured has disputed a credit card transaction, like I said, 6 months down the road or out of the dispute window. So things that we can do, 3DS verification. So that is most major card brands have that, and it's an additional layer of authentication. So you can set at a particular threshold that says, okay, well, any transaction over $5,000 on a credit card needs to go through 3DS verification.
Okay. And that
makes it undisputable. Right?
I like that.
So now everybody can breathe easy. Now with FedNow rails happening, I also want to. I've always wanted to say this in the camera. ACH is just a glorified form of check processing, so it's no different. The automated clearinghouse rails are antiquated, and it's no different than somebody dropping off a check in the mail. It is digital, but
so you get it quicker.
Exactly, but the same. We see a much higher percentage in chargebacks on ACHs than we do credit cards. I always laugh about credit card disputes.
Really?
Because they're like shark bites. They don't happen that often, but when they do, it's a lot of blood in the way. Yeah. Sorry for the big graphic, but just that's
I get it. I love
it. True. But in reality, you're seeing more chargebacks from ACHs. Insufficient funds, wrong account numbers, and
that's true.
And we have, I thought we have great controls to prevent that. But with FedNow, the new FedNow rails that are going to allow for same day payment processing, now we can start to do instant validation of bank account numbers. Right? And so it's important to find a partner to get on the FedNow rails in order for us to be able to do that. But so now we're looking at merchant protection now from the credit card lens with 3DS verification, and now through the ACH lens through FedNow rails. and now all agents out there can breathe easy and not have to worry about getting into a disputed payment transaction. So I think that's going to be a big thing with the industry moving forward. There's a couple of other things that we're monitoring as well too that's really specific to insurance, but merchant protection is a hot and heavy one.
Yeah, and so what's next on the horizon as far as that goes for AndDone? I mean, it's still a fairly new company.
Yeah.
You guys have grown, you told me a number, I don't know if you can say it on air, but a number off air that was pretty impressive. You guys have done a lot of transactions.
I would say it's safely say I think we're the quickest growing payment company.
I would definitely say so. So what's next for you? I mean, you've already reached this pinnacle so quickly.
I'd say we're just now getting started.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what's next?
So money movement. So money movement obviously is a big trend. And not just...
You mean like transfers? Or
I'm talking about moving money to any third party. So you need net premiums moved to a carrier, to an MGA. You're an MGA and need retail commissions moved back to the retail network. Just third party money movement, right? And we've been working on this for well over a year now because there's really two routes you can take. Yes, we could have integrated into a third-party disbursement firm, right? Yeah. But you lose control and visibility over those funds. Now you have a third-party handling funds, and you call us and say, what about this funding? And we're going to say, let me check on that. And we're going to call a third party. They may have to call somebody. It's just not a good experience.
No, not a good look either.
Our value prop is always building the most robust infrastructure that we possibly can. So when it comes to money movement, we want to still own and have that infrastructure, but have the agency still have control of that. So, how do we do that? So, what's next on the horizon? So, our first iteration of money movement that's coming out is really just automatic date and bill pay, if you will.
Okay.
It is. We will automatically produce checks. We will debit the account, because here's another component that plays into this. We hear from a lot of agents all the time that said, I don't just move the net premium straight to the carrier. Don't let it hit my trust account. But we also got a lot of large agencies say, how much we make on float? We have a lot of MGA with net 45, net 60. Again, it goes back into flexibility. So we have to take into account the float component. So that first iteration of check movement is just debiting the account and automatically creating custom remittances. You're able to onboard any third-party vendor. So that can be, if you're an MGA, that can include an agency. And we're automatically processing checks for you. Now, where this goes into the next level is when we start to get into our embedded banking products that we look through. So imagine having an AndDone sponsored bank account that you have complete control over, right?
Oh, wow.
Right? That's your money. You earn the float on it, right? No different. But again, it's an AndDone sponsored. So now we have more flexibility to control that money, right? And to be able to move that money better for you.
Sure.
And so that's really what we're looking into in the beginning of next year. So
money
that's some
big time stuff, man.
Yeah. Money movement is a big one for us. So best in class in payment acceptance, reporting, money movement, and then we've added a fourth pillar of merchant protection.
Wow, you guys are just now getting really off the ground, really started on some of these major things going on. So
we're excited.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because you hear about things going on AndDone, and I think y'all been around forever, but really, it's still a brand new company.
That's right.
Not company. I mean, y'all are IPFS. You know what I mean?
We're a separate entity. It's a separate. It is separate. And what's been interesting is our approach is, and then really this is one of our value props too. We're not. And no offense to the VCs and the PEs out there, but we're not hindered or have to go to the PEs and VCs and have to deal with that.
So that's a good point.
So
because IPFS is your parent.
Quality to market has always been our, speed to market. Yes, look, we get it, but there is a certain level where speed to market hurts you. And in our case, in our particular situation, quality to market has always been our strategy. So it's finding good partners. It's building valuable solutions that you can put into general availability that work, that give you a good reputation, and allow you to build off that. Versus just get something out the door and have a list of promises. And I understand that sometimes you have to do that to really build a company too. It's just where we sit just in our profile of the company, we have the ability to sit back a little bit and build quality to market.
So you opened up the show today, and there was a video from the CEO of IPFS.
Yeah, right.
Got he's on video talking about some really cool stuff, and I've got some friends of mine over the years that and still do work with IPFS, and you're obviously on the AndDone side, but there seems to be a different culture and different chemistry within people that work for IPFS or AndDone.
Oh yeah.
Is that? Obviously, I feel like it's got to be intentional, but is that something intentional from the top down, or is that?
I would absolutely. I would say from the top down, absolutely. I would say, It's a large company. I mean, I think it's over 700 people. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's over 700.
It's a big company.
It's a big company, right? And
based in Kansas City.
Based in Kansas City, but it's family owned, right? Now, so that's the other thing. But this is ginormous. It's family owned. So when I say the top down, yes, Frank, absolutely. But I'll even say above Frank, and it goes to our ownership group, who is family owned. I mean, they're fantastic, right? And they treat the things they do for the employees, and that just trickles down.
Sure.
And, so it's deeply ingrained in our culture for sure.
And so is that same culture, within AndDone as well, and what you guys are doing over there too?
Absolutely. In fact, it's kind of also been this like transition period. Remember, I said that we start thinking like a fintech. So we're probably a little bit more loose on the AndDone side, but the industry is changing. The days of suit and tie, it's still hanging around a little bit. And don't get me wrong, I love my suit and tie too. But
sure.
I would say AndDone probably represents more of the fintech side of what's happening in the fintech than the insurance side. But yeah, that culture is still, because again, it's from the top down, and we've our thing has always been just, if you get the right people in and you support people the right way, which is done from the top down at IPFS and AndDone, then you're going to be successful. And we just carry that on through AndDone.
Yeah, one of the other things I wanted to finish up with real quick, it's kind of off the wall question, but I do like the branding.
Thank you,
Was that
man.
something that
It's pretty good.
It's pretty cool. Is that something that they wanted to have kind of a different, newer kind of look to it than maybe the parent company of the IPFS, kind of
That's right.
Established.
That's exactly right. Spot. So again, it's probably a bad analogy, and someone out there is going to be like, here's a better analogy, which I understand that. Think about it like a Bank of America and Zelle, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, IPFS is that stalwart in the industry. It represents stability, right?
Sure it does.
So really at AndDone, and this is, we each have our own strengths, right? And AndDone had to be really, innovation, agility, right? Like new. And so you got to have a branding that reflects that. But, ultimately, if you stop by our booth, right, it all meshes together.
It sure
very
does.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen, you guys are front and center right there. And so
absolutely,
I appreciate you being here, and sponsoring this in a big way and giving these agents and these, us vendors an opportunity to get in here and mingle and hang out. And I think I could tell, you opened up, and it was very genuine, and you were just happy to be here. And some of the things that you said, just talking about, us coming together as a group and as a team and as an industry, I think that comes from a place of genuine from you and like authenticity from you. Like, is that something that means a lot to you people in our industry?
It does, man. It does, because like the story of IPFS really was built by the small, medium-sized agent. I mean, it really was the lack of attention for that size agents, right? And that's really where IPFS got started. Now, obviously, it's grown across all sides of agencies since then. But if you really look at foundationally how IPFS was started, it really was because there was a lack of attention given to the smaller agencies. So I mean, that's built from the start. But I mean, that passion for me, like, I want to innovate. I want to solve problems, man. And I love, like, the biggest. I've told people this. I've even told my wife this. The biggest regret of my career, like I said, I'm a recovering CPA from a public accounting firm that went to work for a fintech SaaS organization. And the biggest regret of my career is not getting into insurance sooner.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I've had more fun in three. I can't even imagine the fun I've had in 3 years. And it starts here. It starts with the people. Man.
It's the relationships.
Yeah. Absolutely,
yeah,
and I always want to make sure I remind like the agents, like don't think your voice isn't being heard. Like collectively, like let it out, let everybody know, because that's what's going to move the mountains.
And I think we take for granted that, but you coming from a fintech side and coming from other industries outside of insurance, I mean, it is a special industry that we work for and that we work in, and I think people take for granted that. I've only known insurance. I'm second generation. I've been in it for 23 years, so that's all I've ever known. So I don't know what it's like outside, so I take for granted that. So I appreciate you.
Somebody looked at my phone the other day and they said, God, I don't want to know how many text message groups you're on, because that deep connection with all of our customers 100%. Is that right? And but I wouldn't have it any other way. And so this has been a fun ride, and I can't wait for the years to come.
But say you got a long way to go, brother. Don't
We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Now, so the question is going to be maybe we got to put a little wager on this LSU Arkansas.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
We're going to figure that out.
After we just beat Auburn, I was a little shocked, and we hung in pretty tight with Oklahoma State. And we're a lot better than I thought.
Quick story, and again, we're going to put this on film. I'm okay with saying this. So the first baseball game I ever brought my now 7-year-old, then 2, game was LSU. No, he's 3. He was 3. It was LSU versus Arkansas at Baum in Fayetteville.
That's a great stadium.
There's about 14,000 people there. Now we went to the BYOB outfield. I do have a picture of him. LSU won that game, by the way. Go Tigers!
Thank you.
But it is by far the most electric atmosphere I've been in college baseball. So I will say I will give Baum the nod over Alex Box and Baton Rouge. But I do have some funny pictures because if you've ever been to the outfield of Arkansas baseball game and you're in the BYOB outfield, wear a poncho. You will get drenched with beer. My 3-year-old just reeked of beer. And my wife's just like, "What did you do with him?" And I was like, "Look, he was 2. He was 2 because I remember he ate popcorn and he wasn't supposed to, and he smelled like beer." And I was like, "Well, we went to a baseball game.
We had a great time.
What do you expect?"
At least he didn't have glitter on him because it would have been bad news.
Exactly,
brother. Thank you so much for hanging out. Laughing with me. I always love seeing you at these events.
I love hanging with you, man. Always good seeing you.
Thank you. Chase, Courtney, don't hurt him now. Man, he brings it every single time, man. I absolutely enjoyed that conversation from football to AndDone to IPFS. We love our Orange partnership relationship with them, and I know that you guys do too. Thank you so much for joining me again for yet another live episode from the InsurTech Showcase Experience. Come back and see us. And we again love doing these for you, the VIP. And we want to see you again next week. So make sure you subscribe and like and follow us on socials. We love to hear from you. Guys, we'll see you next week. Chad, turn that up in my headphones. I like that.